Graham Rahal, that red, white, and blue service central machine now forces Ryan Hunter-Reay awfully high. Ray almost touched the outside retaining wall at the exit of 4.
Now Takuma Sato trying to get very racy as Taku goes to the inside. We've got 2 cars that touch, and the car's gotten sideways.
No, that's
3,
a big
4,
hit.
5 cars, maybe 6, 7, 8 cars involved.
That's
as repeated contacts on the outside of turn number 2. 1 car on fire as they roll down the straightaway.
That's
Mark,
JR,
this is what we feared here, as cars with 34 cars racing it better than 222 miles an hour, Mark, the big one in turn number 2.
Mike, quite a debris field at the apex of turn number 2, going all the way down the back straightaway. The car that's on fire comes to rest just shy of turn number 3, and the red flag is out as the safety crew already on the scene to address the issue involving the car that's on fire in the back straightaway.
Okay, we want to make sure we're able to identify all of the drivers involved in this one, but right now, Mark, the immediate concern are these cars and these drivers. We've got at least 2 or 3 cars that are showing a lot of smoke. The Homatro safety crew responding as quickly as they can, and the track team here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Joseph, this one was all touched off when a car got out of sorts and made contact between 1 and 2, and after that it was kind of like a pinball as many cars just started making contact repeatedly with the outside wall.
That's the issue here. You have such a big group. No one had any opportunity to fan out. Everyone was together, and as soon as someone came down the track, one guy hit one, and then all of a sudden it pinballed all the way down. That took out a lot of race cars just now.
Okay, one of the cars that was on fire, Mark James, that was the Service Central car of Graham Rahal. He is out of the car under his own power.
Yeah, we're also looking, we believe the car, and again, we're kind of high above turn number 3 here. It looks like the car of Jay Howard. Looks like Jay is out of the car and against the inside retaining wall as cars continue to work their way through the debris field and get their way back onto the pit road.
Yeah, Townsend Bell's car is also involved, and it looks like right now that Buddy Rice is involved. Will Power was, in fact, involved. Pippa Mann, Alex Lloyd. It looked like Dan Wheldon may have been involved in this. E.J. Vizo, Paul Tracy, Charlie Kimball. It looks like Schechter may have also been involved. Hildebrand may have been involved, and Wade Cunningham. My goodness gracious, this was a massive. Mark James, in all the years we have done this might have been the biggest multi-car incident we have ever seen in IndyCar competition.
Yeah, the only thing that we can hope for at this point, Mike, in terms of how severe the hits were and the fact that we had cars on fire, of course, our thoughts turn to the safety of our drivers. But again, Mike, go back and look at the video time and time again, and I continue to say it. And folks, we don't want to belabor the point, but quite frankly, the safety crew that travels with this series is absolutely the best in the world. There were emergency vehicles on top of that car that was all ablaze down the back straightaway before it ever came to a stop. So again, the Homatro safety crew, absolutely the best in the business, and they're showing why here today.
Okay, well, let's see. We've got cars coming to a stop. Obviously, the red flag being displayed in the flag stand immediately below us, and we have, at the very least, it looks like we may have 10 or 11 cars, perhaps as many as 12 cars involved in this incident. Will Power is done here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Dario Franchitti will win the 2011 IZOD IndyCar Series Championship. He will win 4 in a row, the 4th of his career. It has been an amazing run for Dario. Remember, he did not run IndyCar in 2008. He ran NASCAR. My goodness, what a quick turn of events this has been, and it literally was, it happened at 220 plus miles an hour. Let's go downstairs to pit lane and Jake Query.
Tim Cindric, obviously, the important thing is Will's out of the car and okay, but for the points championship, that's gotten away now. Take me through what he was able to report back to you, what happened, and just your overall emotions.
Yeah, a situation like that, the first thing you're concerned about is how everybody is, not just your guy. And obviously we saw Will get out there on television, but he had nothing to say really on the radio or anywhere else. So the first indication that we had that he was okay was to see him here on the television. It's obviously very disappointing to not even get a shot to run for it today, but fortunately he's out and we'll get a shot at it again next year.
For you guys, once you made the switch, you came over to the 12 car, you got Will right back there in position. I know it's early to think about next year, but just through what Will Power was able to accomplish this year from a mental standpoint and putting himself once again in position, your thoughts on him?
That was really Will and the guys that put him in the position he's in. You know, I was just there as a supporting role, really. And it's a shame when you see the guy win as many races as anybody's won in this series and not get a shot to at least run for it here at the end and have something happen this early. But that's the way racing goes. I feel for him because I know he's put into it at this point and what these guys have put into it, but I know these guys won't quit, and we'll be back.
Hard to see and hard to swallow right now, but a great season for the 12 car. Tim Cendrick, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
It's Tim Cendrick with, of course, Will Power, that number 12 Verizon wireless machine for Team Penske. Mike
so
King.
With 12 of 200 laps complete, the 2011 championship has been decided. Obviously, still a lot to be decided here today. We are going to have to check and make sure on the status of J.R. Hildebrand. We told you that James Hinchcliffe was making the charge to the front, was running up there. Hildebrand was running behind him, and it looks like right now, if in fact Hildebrand was involved, and it appears he was, that James Hinchcliffe will be the 2011 Sunoco Rookie of the Year. Let's check in on pit lane with Kevin Lee.
Chip Ganassi has just won another championship. This is not the way you want it to happen, and for what you know, I'm the first to tell you about Will Power. What have you seen? Did you see anything watching live? If Power was involved, Dario couldn't have been that far from being involved in this melee.
Yeah, I had no idea what happened or how anybody got through it. It just looked like a huge accident there, and I saw somebody sailing through the air. I just hope everybody's okay.
Hard to really think about a championship right now like that.
Yeah, no, we're not thinking about that right now. They'll be, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's wait and get confirmation on everybody, and then we'll start thinking about the championship and how things play out.
Wow. Let's try to see if we can check in with Davey Hamilton, who is in the number 11 HP Brian Reinbold car on pit lane, as we do see the helicopter is being fired up behind the infield care center. IMS Radio Network to Davey Hamilton. Davey, do you read?
Yeah, Mike, loud and clear, buddy.
Davey, boy, this was one of the biggest multi-car incidents, Davey, we've ever seen. You had a bird's eye view. What happened out there?
It was crazy. This racing is it's a little insane. I dropped back for a good reason, obviously. I was around this stuff. We didn't get any running in practice, Mike. I was all by myself, so this track, this running in groups is interesting, and I seen how close guys were getting. And I just didn't have confidence in what my car could do yet, and so I dropped to the back. And when I looked up, I seen some smoke, and obviously somebody touched wheels, and just mayhem. It's very bad. I just pray to God that nobody's hurt, Mike. It's the ugliest thing I've seen in any car racing for forever.
Davey, I've got to wonder, how did you make your way through this unscathed? I mean, your car looks pretty good. Obviously, that is not the major concern right now, but you were running so far back there, you had to go through the debris field and past all of these cars. How did you make your way through?
Well, there's debris everywhere, so I just came to a stop as quick as I could. Obviously, we probably did run over some debris, Mike, but like I say, I was going into turn one, and I looked over and I just seen smoke, and I just slipped it just naturally, not knowing who or what was happening, and I thank God, because it wasn't good. So we're going to start working on our car here, Mike, so I'll catch you in a minute.
Okay, Davey, thanks so much, and be careful out there. Davey Hamilton inside the number 11 Hewlett-Packard Brian Reinbold car as we were watching a replay. And, Joseph, this is the helicopter view from a top turn number 1. And two cars touched. One car got sideways, and then it was on at that point.
Well, you know what?
Wow.
It was one event, and then it was another event that happened because of the first event. Someone checked up on that second group once the first group hit the wall, and that caused the second chain accident. And as you can see here, it was an absolute massive collision. There's 4 or 5 cars on fire there.
Wow. It is a very serious incident, and Chip Ganassi has been involved in racing for most, if not all, of his life, and you knew just by the tenor of his voice just how serious this incident is. And this is, folks, a very, very serious incident that we just saw happen in turns 1 and 2 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Now, we have 20 cars that are lined up on pit lane. Vitor Mira is also sitting in the number 14 ABC Supply Foyt Racing pit stall. Right now, Davey Hamilton in the 11 car is shown as the final car in the group of cars that are lined up on pit lane, with Tony Kanaan, our pole sitter, out in front. So from back to front, you've got Tony Kanaan, Ed Carpenter, Ryan Briscoe, Marco Andretti, Oriol Servia, Alex Tagliani, Graham Rahal, Ryan Hunter-Ray, Elio Castroneves, and James Hinchcliffe. That's your first 10 cars. Takuma Sato is shown 11th, Danica Patrick 12th, Scott Dixon 13th, Dario Franchitti 14th, Sebastian Saavedra 15th, Mike Conway 16th, Simona Di Silvestro 17th, Anna Beatriz 18th, Davey Hamilton 19th, and James Jakes is shown in 20th place, but I'm certain he was involved in this incident, and as we mentioned, Vitor Mira is on pit lane right now and shown in 21st place. That means that Wade Cunningham, J.R. Hildebrand, Townsend Bell, Jay Howard, Thomas Schechter, Charlie Kimball, Paul Tracy, E.J. Vizo, Dan Wheldon, Alex Lloyd, Pippa Mann, Will Power, and Buddy Rice are the drivers that are involved in this incident. And right now the whole Matro safety crew have their hands full making sure that all of these drivers are extricated from these cars and treated gingerly, because when you see this incident, when you see the replays on television, you'll understand why. Okay, let's get an update from Jake Query on pit lane. Jake.
The drivers are out of their cars. That includes the pole sitter, Tony Kanaan, who still has on his helmet, but Marco Andretti got out. Both drivers immediately went to go talk to Kevin Blanche. I think they were trying to relay their concerns as to where there would be an issue on the track, but Tony Kanaan, fairly animated in his conversation with him, now has the helmet off as Tony Kanaan, the pole sitter, walks to the side. Now all drivers have gotten out of their cars, and there is obviously concern. Now Tony Kanaan is going to talk to Ed Carpenter as well, so we'll try to assess exactly what the concerns are, other than the fact that Dan Wheldon is who right now obviously everyone is thinking about.
Yeah, a big hit. Car got upside down. Just to give you an idea of how fast these drivers were already circulating around this track, just 12 laps into this event, Joseph Takuma Sato was over 223 miles an hour. Dario Franchitti, I believe, had turned the quickest lap at 223.774. So these we're talking about speeds approaching 224 miles an hour.
Wow, and like the guys were saying, anyone that's on the pit lane right now, Dan was a good guy and everyone knows him, so they want to know if he's okay.
Absolutely, and that's true for anyone involved in this. Let's go downstairs. Jake Query, you've got several drivers that can comment on this.
Tony Kanaan and Ed Carpenter are talking right now. Tony Kanaan, I saw you talking to Ed. Obviously, we're thinking about Dan, but take me through just the mindset, what happened, and what you guys now the concern is.
Well, Jake, we don't know what happened, to be honest. I mean, we're in the front, but really concerned about Dan right now. Obviously, I've never seen a racetrack like this. I mean, I could not avoid debris. I couldn't see it. I saw pieces of cars on fire, and it's really scary, man. I mean, it's the last race of the year. I know we're racing against each other, but we really respect each other. We don't want to see anybody getting hurt. So right now, it's not even about this race. It's about thoughts and prayers with Dan,
You can see it. When I'm down here, Ed Carpenter, I can see it, I can feel it. You guys are competitors, you compete, but there is somewhat of a fraternity-like feeling, brothers and sisters, in getting out there in the race cars, and I don't mean to overstate that. I can see it in your faces.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, a lot of us here have been racing together for a long time, and Tony and I have been teammates with Dan, so, we're just praying for him and praying that he's okay, and that when we get going again, that, everyone else will stay safe as well. So we want to put on a show, but, safety is the first thing, and I agree with Tony. I mean, there was so much debris out there. I've never seen a track that covered, so, it immediately makes you worry for the people involved in the crash, and, let's be praying for him.
All right, that's Ed Carpenter.
We have a very preliminary report that we're being told that all drivers are awake and alert, and we will, of course, pass along to you more detailed information as we receive it. So once again, a very preliminary report.